There's a Zulu saying that says, "Indlela ibuzwa kwabaphambili," which means that we as young people, we look up to the old generation. Ask yourself, why is it that young people love alcohol so much? Why is it that young people actually have taken this thing of alcohol to the level that they've made it a culture? For example, pens down. Hands down is a culture in black communities especially, where we see young people going to drink alcohol to celebrate that holidays have came and that school is closing down. And they celebrate that through alcohol and vulgar behavior. Makes them to fill the streets wearing school uniform, ruining that uniform that parents work hard to buy, writing nasty messages there, and then filling the streets like such examples. This is the same behavior that Mkhwanazi is trying to end by saying this about pens down events.
The phenomenon of pens down and explosion parties is prevalent, especially in the Tewini region and also neighboring district of Ilembe, around Palito. We are issuing a stern warning against those grade 12 learners who are now busy with their final examination, that their focus should be on what lies ahead. They must focus on having completed their matric and focus on their higher education training that is going to be next year. We understand that they are going to attend these parties, but these parties must not be used to end their lives, and these parties must be treated in a manner that it's a celebratory parties and not parties that are going to cause mayhem to the local communities, where some of these kids are going to fall victim of an assault and even murder. So in these parties, learners, some of them still underage, they indulge in alcohol and they also take drugs. And unfortunately, many of these parties do not necessarily end well. There are a lot of casualties that occur during these parties. We are appealing to parents to adopt active parenthood and discourage their children from risking their lives. As when they participate in these parties, they should behave accordingly. You do not want your child to be in a conflict with the law, because police will be out in full force and will make sure that we do not negotiate with lawbreakers.
These events have started becoming a serious problem, but you know what is so worrying is that these people don't have real role models. Why would you blame young people from celebrating the close of schools, going to drink alcohol, as if they are role models that are there to show them how to live life and how to not celebrate the close of school and how to really ensure that we have a better future, especially in the black community?
Launching its anti-pens down campaign in Mdantsane. The campaign aims to reduce the scourge of underage drinking, with learners being the central focus. In June 2022, 21 young people lost their lives at Enyobeni Tavern. This was at Scenery Park in East London following a pens down gathering.
As all share the same common vision. This forms part of tavern owners' Back to School initiative to instill hope and discipline. Law enforcement agencies and tavern owners have acknowledged that underage drinking and pens down celebrations are still one of the key challenges. The relevant stakeholders say they are not losing the fight.
However, we expect a lot from these young people when we have leaders that are very questionable. Our leaders are very questionable, guys, to the point that we have leaders that are criminals. Our leaders are criminals, and whom will these young people look up to? Gayton Mackenzie is there. He's a criminal. The MKP just appointed Tony Ngeni.
Decided to have one of our cadres we've been with for years. His name, Kotliwe. That comrade of ours who's going to join us at the leadership, the top leadership, is Tony Ngeni. Kuphoka mfana kithi uzosijoyina la. Yini kukhona bangashaya izandla lapha? Aniyabona? Bakhona bangashaya izandla?
Who has been imprisoned for 4 years for charges of fraud and corruption. We also have Ubaba Malala, who spent 1 or 2 days in prison. We also have a possible imprisonment of Julius Malema, one of the big leaders that we have. Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma, they are the biggest leaders, political leaders that we have.
2, 3, 4, and 5, you are found guilty as charged.
They're fined with such charges that they might face prison or faced prison already. And then you say that whom will these young people look up to? Because now we have this situation of appointments of Tony Ngeni, our leaders facing a probable prison. It's a distraction of the black community. Whom will these black people or young leaders look up to? Content that has things that involve the SEX is glorified than the politics of the country, the economics of the country, understanding what is going on in the country. When last have you heard that there's an organization or an event where people are being educated about the state of our country, the economics, everything that is happening in our country? When have you seen young people engaging in such topics? But when it comes to SEX, number one, they are there. In podcasts that are SEX, they are growing like weed. But podcasts that are talking about serious issues of the country that we're supposed to be worried about, they are nowhere to be found. That's the generation that is being groomed. The politics is even known as a brutal space. The space where people are being criticized. People can't even say their views because of how the environment that we've created, the environment that we've made politics to be. It's a very dangerous environment. People are even afraid of talking about everybody else because of how this space has been so safeguarded to a point that when you get inside of there, you become vulnerable and susceptible to insults. That is why young people think alcohol is the best way. Alcohol is the easiest way out. Because whenever we engage in serious topics of the country, there's always a backlash. The MK people will come for you. The EFF people will come for you. The Patriotic Alliance people will come for you. Or the ANC people, the DA people. It's not a space where you can just exercise the freedom of expression without feeling like, oh, I'm being attacked. Or whatever the case may be. That is why our generation thinks that pens down is a better event to have than to have an event where they speak about serious topics of the country. We have normalized banditism. We've normalized that we even have a leader, a minister who was a criminal, a serious criminal that he even never denied. He's admitted that he was a criminal. That's the type of leaders that we have. Then whom are these young people supposed to look up to? If you harbor criminals, you find yourself in the same situation. So what is going on with that royal house? I think it's Prince or King, I think it's Prince Andrew, who was stripped of his royal title because of what he was doing, taking advantage of the people, using his title. That is why you should always have a problem with having leaders who are tainted with criminality, who are tainted of being, accused of certain things. I've never been an advocate of tainted leaders. And I would forever not be an advocate of tainted leaders. Someone even said, there's no leader that is not tainted. Okay, then which means we should not have leaders. But if we have leaders, we should have pride and have leaders that are good. Leaders that are proper. Not leaders that are accused of serious things. Like what was going on with the royal house. A full prince being accused of SEX, SH, of children, young people. It's such situations. Up until we get to a point where we're like, no ways. There's just no ways. We are tired of leaders. If you are tainted, you take a step back. You fix your name. You fix your dirty laundry. We have leaders such as Fadiel Adams who go open cases. They don't even respect the command of the president that have created the commission. Go and say your case in the commission. Instead, they are busy spending so much time on the media telling us, I'm going to open this case. I'm going to tell this one. This man has opened more than 2 cases just today, 3 or 4, just today.
Good morning to you, Sakina, and to the viewers at home. Of course, this police station has become the common place where members of parliament actually lay criminal charges against their colleagues or senior government officials who they feel have misled parliament. And now Fadiel Adams, who is the leader of the National Colored Congress, is also following suit by actually coming here this morning at around 9 o'clock, where he will be laying criminal charges against the National Police Commissioner, General Fani Masemola. Of course, in his sworn statement that we've got sight of, he alleges that the National General Police Commissioner is actually employing people who are related to him, who may not have followed the proper processes or are underqualified for those processes.
This province was burning event on leave. November 2021, the KZN riots, the man disappeared. When SAPS needed him, when the country needed him, he wasn't a brave general. When Mkhwanazi says in portfolio that my issue against his friend Kumalo is an HR issue, understand he makes this allegation as if he's seen the docket. Remember, the docket is classified. By his own admission, he doesn't have stock security clearance. Let me discredit Mkhwanazi for you. KZN is the worst performing province out of 9. If you want discreditation, I can play as petty and as personal as he wants to. Remember, he was a Major General for 2 months. He was promoted to Lieutenant General 2 months later. He became Acting National Commissioner 2 weeks later. This is the epitome of a politicized policeman. This man feels okay with us spending R500 million investigating 58 murders in KZN. He doesn't say anything about the anti-gang unit dealing with 3,000 murders.
These are the leaders that we have, always fighting, not even respecting the president himself.
Against the heads of crime intelligence about a year ago. Mkhwanazi's press conference comes 4 months later to save his friends at crime intelligence, who I feel belong in jail. Mkhwanazi himself said it. The National Commissioner was at the gates of jail when I called that press conference. He said it. People just aren't listening. The National Commissioner is the one that is the buck stops with him. He's the accounting officer for the SAPs. If his underlings are buying Lamborghinis, hotels, and going on holidays overseas without tax money, he's the one signing it off. He's the one implicated. I believe that he should have been at the gates of jail. I think that that press conference that Mkhwanazi called was to save his friends. This has got nothing to do with ethics. As a matter of fact, I don't know if the man has ethics. Remember, he issued a very veiled threat at me yesterday. A very veiled one. Here's my response. I will see your bet and I'll raise it. Next week, General Mkhwanazi, I will lay charges about the extrajudicial killings of children that's happening in KZN under your watch. You've had nothing to say about that.
Go to the commission, Mr. Fadiel, and say your matter. Yes, Mkhwanazi responded. But I like the response of Mkhwanazi because Mkhwanazi is saying that, but let us meet in the commission. And if you think that I've done wrong, bring it on. Open the case.
Court, they decide to prosecute or prosecute. I was never afraid to be prosecuted. I'm not going to be afraid to be prosecuted now. So if Mr. Adams, who I spoke about in the commission, feels that he must then use the strategy to threaten or intimidate, it's okay. I'm not afraid of that. We already understand which side of the law he is. We'll find each other in the right place. Let it happen. He must bring it on. My making law. It was the South African Police Service members, hardworking men and women, who are frustrated. And I'm sure as we are watching what's happening in the commission, we get to hear more and more police officers talking about the frustrations. So I said in my presentation, I've said in my statement, what I'm talking about is information I have. Some of it I read on documents that I'm entitled to read. And some of it is information I received from the colleagues that briefed me on it. So as I presented, representing the men and women in blue, where there was any omission or error made, that was not intentional and it's going to be explained. We submit some statements, and I think maybe you might have missed the fact that what was spoken about in Parliament against what was in my statement are two different things. So maybe he needs to get my statement and read it and see where I wrote whatever that he went to open a case on, or else he's opening a case against what I said. What I said is coming from the team, and it's going to be explained when we go back to the Parliament. We'll leave it like that. But if we are frustrated, like in this sense, in the extent that it happened, we were left with no options but to bring it to the attention of the public. And I'm glad the President took the decision and took to establish a commission. And I'm happy that Parliament is embarking on the process that they're pleased with. That will help us all. So that's all we can comment on for now. So please, may I ask yourselves, your fellow colleagues, never to ask many questions about the commission again, never to ask many questions about what's happening in Parliament. It's a process of Parliament, it's a process of the head of committee of the President. I'm just a small part that to contribute a piece that I contributed, and the rest of our colleagues are hearing there, contributing their part. It's not about me, it's about South African Police Service. So
even Mkhwanazi opened the case against O'Sullivan. Did he go to the media and say, yeah, I'm coming for him? Did he ever? Because you guys heard from newspapers that there's a case against O'Sullivan. Why are our leaders acting like this? They acting like, I don't know. It's too disorganized, man. It's just too chajarach in a way. It's too chajarach behavior. And then you think young people are going to look up to us, are going to be involved or want to be involved in serious things? Why would Mkhwanazi talk about the criminalism that happens with this pen style if there was nothing wrong with it? There's something wrong. And to blame young people why they prioritize things like that, like matric dance, investing so much money in matric dance, instead of investing so much money in things that are going to change their lives and their generations, that are going to make them have the best of education. These are the young people who have the most luxurious matric dances. Tomorrow, they'll be asking you for funds so that they can go to school, but they spent a lot of money on a matric dance. These are the generations that we have. They don't know where to prioritize, what is priority and what is not, because of our leaders. Our leaders are acting jajarach. Therefore, it's a norm. If now it's a norm to have people who are criminals to be our presidents and leaders, then everything has been normalized. There's nothing wrong. People don't even feel the shame. Even now, I've heard people criticizing Mbaba to say that he went to Burkina Faso and that Traore does not care about him. Why should Traore care about him? He's not a president of South Africa. He went there to visit, I don't know for what reason. Only the MKP and him know why he went there. Maybe he's trying to forge relations because Mbaba always goes to its countries trying to forge relations, Morocco and all of that. But Traore doesn't owe him any meetup. He doesn't. He doesn't owe him meetups. We have serious domestic issues. I don't know if having relations with other countries will help us in a country. But I think that now we have leaders who have went But who are not here. They've left. In country yacha, bonabeko. They are not here. And then you think the youth are supposed to take politics serious, supposed to take issues of South Africa serious. No ways. We're expecting a lot from these young people. We're expecting a lot from up until we see leaders that are serious role models to these young people. Up until we see even our president taking the matters of South Africa very serious. These young people are also going to take matters serious. They're not going to be glorifying alcohol. But they're glorifying alcohol and even having after-school events of alcohol. That is because of we don't aspire confidence. We don't aspire to be the leaders that these young people are looking for. Nonetheless, you comment your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I will see you on my next upload. Bye.